And I'm very happy that she suggested actually to be there for us for the call tonight, because she really loves social media. She loves all the technical stuff. Where I sometimes say, hey, Lizel, I don't know how to do that. She says, come on, Bea, I'll show you. And she just taught me recently to work with the WhatsApp status, which made me so excited, because I did it immediately, what she taught me. And guess what? Same day, I got 2 new customers on the trial pack. And this is why I thought, Lisa, please take your time and share with us what are you doing on social media. So please, without any further ado, over to our active world team, Lizel318. Welcome, Lizel.
Thanks, Bea. Good evening, everyone. Okay, there's going to be a quick disclaimer at the start of this training. Social media is something that's actually very personal, and you'll see through some of the things that I'm going to be sharing is that I'm going to give you a couple of tips and guidelines and ideas, but the actual content that you post is going to be unique to you. So I'm not going to tell you what you should say in a post. I'm going to give you sort of a framework of the types of things that you can do. I've always been very active on social media, but I never really applied a clear structure to how I use it as part of my business. So I decided quite recently actually to get a bit more focused on how I use the time that I spend on social media to help me to actually grow my business to a certain extent. That's the first disclaimer. The second disclaimer I want to give you guys is that remember that social media isn't really a daily method of operation, okay? Social media is something that you add onto your business to help you to build more relationships, get more people. Social media on its own is not going to help you to grow a strong and solid business. It's a nice way for you to showcase what you do and to attract interest so that you can engage people. But in the end, you still have to go out there, and you have to meet up with people. You have to interact with people to really grow your business. So I hope that some of the things that I'm going to be sharing with you will help you to, for those of you who are scared of using social media, to actually start wetting your feet a little bit and venture out and experiment a little bit. And for those of you who are seasoned social media people and you post things often, hopefully you'll have a bit more insight in how you can use things like Facebook and Instagram. I'm not a Snapchat person. Those of you who use Snapchat, the same principles would apply. And now recently I discovered the status messages on WhatsApp. I've known about the status messages, but I never really bothered using it. And this is perhaps another tip before I start that I want to give you guys is when you attend the big training events like LDWs and that, always make sure that you get there early, not just because you want to get a good seat, but because it gives you an opportunity to mingle and to chat with other people in the business, other leaders, and find out what it is that they're doing in their businesses. Because how I'm using WhatsApp status messages now was actually shared with me in the 5 minutes before the Saturday training started, where someone that I know quite well was super excited and he said to me, do you use WhatsApp status messages? And I was like, what do you mean do I use it? He said, do you use it for your business? I'm like, no, I don't. It's just something else that I know that WhatsApp has. He says, no, you must use it. And he started showing me. And same as what Bea did, what he showed me, I started applying straight away while I was there in the training. And it's quite interesting what resulted out of that. So with that being said, I'm going to jump straight into the slides. So I've prepped a couple of slides for you guys to keep me on track and also to give you a bit more of a visual idea of what I'm talking about. Okay, so some of the things that we're going to cover today is how to write posts that generate interests, how to take good photos, because it's important when you're using social media that you know how to take good photographs as well, and then understanding how to use hashtags properly, and then also what Herbalife's rules state with regards to hashtags and using hashtags. Okay, so there's a couple of images here on the slide that you can see, and you always want to make sure that your posts look interesting, okay? You need to ask yourself that if you were an outsider and you were looking at this post, would it attract your attention? Because most people are visual people. So especially when you're using a social media platform like Instagram, it's all image-based. So if you really want someone to read your content that you've put as together with your image, you need to make sure that your image is captivating, that it makes them want to actually stop and take a look at what you've written or what ties in with this picture that you've posted. Okay, so there's just a couple of examples there that you can see where the quality of the photographs are good. It looks quite interesting, that one with Quentin Revoir with the lady there next to him. You sort of wonder, what is it about? So I would actually stop and want to read what he's posting there. You know, so that's the kind of content that you want to create. Next slide, Bia. Okay, so there are a couple of keys that I'm going to share with you, right, that will assist you in writing a great post. The first, most important thing is that you need to stay true to your own voice. You need to be authentic. So Quentin Revoir actually mentioned this in his training as well. He said that he's got a lot of team members who are sort of his age group, and they are the ones who walk with their caps backwards, and it looks really cool. But now he's got an older guy in his team, a more mature gentleman, who also started wearing his cap backwards. And said to him, listen, dude, why are you walking around with your cap backwards? And the guy said, no, it's what you guys do and it looks so cool. But it looked completely wrong, because that's not who he is. That doesn't suit his personality. There are some people who are his age or his age group that can pull something like that off. But he was trying to fit in with what he thought was the acceptable way to do things. But he wasn't being authentic. He wasn't being true to himself. And that's one of the traps that one can fall into with social media, where you are trying to emulate or copy someone else, but it's not really who you are. So always be you. You know, share the interesting things about you and about your life. People want to see the real you. There's so much fake people and fake things out in the world that when you're trying to connect with people, when you're trying to build a relationship, especially through social media, you need to show them who you really are. You also want to make sure that you are inspiring and motivational for your audience. Nobody wants to listen to someone who's moaning and groaning and complaining. And we all have bad things that happen to us or challenges that we have in our lives. Social media isn't the place to put it. And I honestly believe that when you have challenges and when bad things are happening and you're going through a couple of struggles, you shouldn't be posting it on social media, number one. And number two, you give more power to it. So what you give power to, what you focus your attention on, is what will grow. So if you want more problems, keep focusing on your problems. So definitely keep it away from social media. Deal with it in your own way, and focus on the positive and uplifting things. And with all the add-ons that you get with social media, like on Facebook and on Instagram, and even with WhatsApp, when you're using WhatsApp status messages, there are a lot of stickers that you can add to your posts to make it more interesting. There are a lot of emojis that you can add to really set the tone and bring across the emotion that you may be experiencing that you can't really bring across necessarily just with a photo. Because you're not necessarily adding voice, or it might not be a video, but with the emojis you can really bring across what you're experiencing in that moment. You want to make sure that your content is good as well. You know, sharing things like results, sharing things. If your interest is exercise and you're someone who exercises a lot, sharing exercise tip ideas. You know, there's so many things that you can bring in, because we focus on a healthy, active lifestyle. But if you aren't someone who doesn't exercise at all, don't suddenly now start posting photos of you doing push-ups if that's not really your thing, because then you're not being authentic. Then rather go onto the Herbalife site and grab one of the Samantha Clayton videos and share that kind of content, something that's approved from Herbalife side. And you need to mix it up a little bit as well. Nobody wants to see the same thing over and over and over again, you know, and you want to make it interesting. You don't want to post a picture of a tin of shake and say, hey, you should have my shake. You rather want to post you having the shake and saying how great it makes you feel when you have it first thing in the morning as your breakfast. Or if you've just finished a workout, snap yourself with your sweaty face and your sweaty red face and your recovery shake with your rebuild strength, and write some interesting content about that and how it actually helps you to recover faster. You want to create interest. You want people to want to engage with you, and you'll see in the little image there with the cell phone, it's quite a quirky picture of those 4 people exercising together, and they just put a simple caption there that says, "My gym crew is better than yours." So it's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek, look at us, we're awesome kind of post. But it's often those kinds of posts that people would respond to, and you might get an interaction from people where they'll post a picture of themselves and their people that they train with, you know, because that's the kind of thing that you want. You want to be able to start a conversation with people through your posts. Next slide, please, Bia. Okay, so what do you want to write about? It's important that you document your journey. And even if you're someone that's just brand new in the business and you're just getting started, take people with you on your journey. Don't start your journey and then afterwards say, that's where I was, this is what's happened to me. I think it's actually really powerful when you go and you share your goals and you say, this is what I'm focusing on, this is what I'm working on. And people are interested in that because they want to see that you actually do achieve your goals at the end of the day. So if you're starting, and even if you are someone that's been around longer, you know, for me it was a big thing last year where I decided and I really made a clear decision to recommit to my own personal results. And that is something that I shared on social media. And even up until now, people are following that. People are watching me. They want to know, how are my results? I often get comments and say, we can see that there's a change, because people are aware of goals that I put out that I want to achieve, and that I'm really focused now on getting into my best shape possible. I added in weightlifting to my training towards the end of last year, and I started sharing a bit of that content. You won't believe how many people talk to me about it, women especially, wanting to know, how is it that I'm doing weightlifting? They really admire me for doing that. How can they get involved? Does it really help for fat loss? You know, so people watch those kinds of things, and that's what you want. You want to create that engagement, because people that I have spoken to that have asked me about it, I say to them, yes, it is great for fat loss, but it's only effective because I'm following a proper nutrition plan. So it complements and it enhances the result that I'm getting through my nutrition. It's actually helping me speed up the result a little bit. So if they're interested, then we can talk about that, you know. So it's a nice way to take something that is interesting for you, something that you're passionate about, and using that as a tool to attract people that you can actually engage with. You know, you can share content like celebrating your clients' results, because that inspires people. You know, if you've got great before and after pictures or in progress pictures of clients that you're working with, share those results, because you never know when you share that little bit of a story of what's happened to your client, how it might affect someone else and inspire them, and let them then decide, you know what, I've been following you for so long, I think it's about time that I actually get on track now, because I'm in exactly the same position that that person was in. Recognize achievements and results that you have with your team members, your business partners in your business. Share recipes, workout routines, inspirational quotes, things that you like. You basically, in a sense, document your life. You need to decide how much of that, how much of your personal life you want to share. But people don't want to see a billboard for Herbalife all the time. They want to see that you're a person that perhaps goes out to a restaurant every now and then and eats what the general people would call normal food. But you still make healthy choices. You are someone who goes out to the movies, or you have this interest or that interest. You know, share little snapshots of your life, because people then can relate to you more easily. It's not just the person, oh, there's that Herbalife person putting tea again on there. They're just punting tea, and tomorrow they're punting aloe, and tomorrow they're punting shake, and tomorrow they're punting skin products. You can do stuff like that, but people switch off, because for them it's just an advertisement. But if you post a picture of you having just done a mint mask and you're pulling a funny face, and you know, you put a quirky caption with it, that attracts attention. then people are interested to read what the messages you're trying to bring across. So you always need to ask yourself before you make a post is how attractive are you really to the marketplace out there? If this was someone else posting what you're about to post, would you really be interested to stop as you're scrolling through to actually take a look at it? You can see with these images that we're sharing here, this is a lady who's been focusing on doing a bit of strength training. People are interested in learning how she's doing it, why she's doing it, how much stronger she's getting. Perhaps she started with just an empty bar. Now she's at a point where she's adding 2 bumper plates onto her bar already. The picture on the far right, the lady who's on day 11, this is someone who's been documenting her journey specifically. Those of you who work with challenges, or 21-day challenges, for example, you can share what you look like and what your starting metrics are if you want on day 1, and then share what's happened to you on day 21. President's team member in the UK, Matthew Barraclough, has been quite good with that, with their challenges that they're running over there. There's daily content that he shares on his Instagram page about the 21-day challenge, but not from just a coach's perspective. He's participating in the challenge himself as well. And he's been traveling quite a bit. So it's been interesting how he shares how he deals with the fact that he's eating in hotels and how he still figures out how to make healthy choices, although he's not at home where he can prep his own meals. People are looking for advice like that. So it's not just talking about Herbalife. He's saying, this is what I do while I'm traveling. But then later there's a post where he says, thank goodness I've got my Herbalife products with me as well, because this helps me to stay on track and make sure that I'm getting balanced meals while I'm traveling and I'm on flights and in between hotels and different venues. So, that's him. He does a lot of traveling. So you might not be someone who travels a lot, but think about what you do in your daily comings and goings that would be interesting that you can share with people, that can actually help people, that can benefit people, because then you'll start generating an interest where they want to engage with you and start following you. Next slide, please, Via. Okay, so I've taken a couple of snapshots here to give you an idea of the type of things that I typically would post. And there's going to be some interesting backstories to one or two of these posts that I'm going to share with you guys. So I have 2 Labradors, quite young dogs. The one is under 1 year old, the other one is just under 2 years old. I have an Instagram account for my dogs. They have their own Instagram account. But what I did is they, on their bio for their Instagram account, I am flagged as their mom, my own personal Instagram account. Why did I do that? Because if there are Labrador lovers and dog lovers out there that start following their Instagram account because of the content I'm posting there, and they see that the owner of this dog has their own Instagram account, chances are pretty good that they're going to go over and follow my own personal account as well, which has happened quite a few times now already. So it just opens up another avenue, another audience that I can actually engage with. And I see their likes on some of my posts as well, so I know that they're following me and that they're watching me. But I'll post some of the stuff that I do with my dogs. Then I'll post team calls that I have on Zoom with team members. I'll post some of the meetings. Then I'll go back and post again about my life, my family. I recently posted that photo of my dad who did his first park run at age 79, and he finished it in 43 minutes. The comments just exploded on Facebook, people wanting to know, and he quite cleverly, I didn't ask him to do that, he did that out of his own, with his Herbalife 24 water bottle. They use the shake every single day. They're big product lovers, my mom and dad. So yeah, he was ready to pose with his Herbalife 24 water bottle there. So it was a great post for me, or a great pic for me to be able to use. Then I shared at the bottom there 2 new team members that are starting up in the business. The one is already signed up. But I shared how it all happened. How the one lady hit on my button and she brought someone else, and we did a bit of sampling, and they both went on challenges. The one is now signed up as a coach. She's already got shake parties planned. And then I did a little collage of my challenges, the kind of stuff that people post. Because often when we're promoting things like a 6-day healthy breakfast, or I specifically work with belly fat challenges where I use the challenge pack as a 3-day trial, that then leads into a 21-day challenge. Often when people see those posts, they think, oh, it's just shakes and shakes and shakes. So what I did there is there's basically 2 pictures there that contain shakes. The rest of it is images that my participants in the challenges posted. And I made it look interesting, nice and colorful, edited the color a little bit so it pops a little bit more. There's a Herbalife protein bar in there as well, just so that people can get an idea of what we do on these challenges, that it's not just about using shakes and consuming Herbalife products all day. We actually teach you how to incorporate it as part of your other regular meals that you have as well. Now, that Zoom photo that I posted there at the top, this was a new member that one of my team members signed up in New Zealand. And we were doing a Zoom call to help Lizel get her business going. But what was interesting, when I posted this on Facebook, someone that I did martial arts with in 1993, that I'm connected to on Facebook, who is now living in New Zealand, actually said there, oh my goodness, I didn't know Herbalife is in New Zealand. So I hopped onto Messenger straight away and I sent her a message and I said, hey, Nicoline, how are you? I haven't heard from you in ages. How are you guys doing? I know you and your kids are living in New Zealand, all going well. And she said, yeah, I saw you commented on my post about Herbalife. Have you been interested in using the products? Because I see you say you didn't know that it's available in New Zealand. She said, yes. It's an Afrikaans there. So for those of you who don't speak Afrikaans, that was her comment that she sent back. She said, yes, a couple of years ago, she was looking for the products. Can I please provide her with a bit more information about what we do? So I am in conversation with her at this stage. She's quite interested to take a look at the products, but they've got a boat and they're busy traveling now. So hopefully when she comes back, I can get her started. But again, it was just a simple post of a Zoom call that we did. And I said, I'm so excited about business expanding to New Zealand. And it resulted in someone commenting and wanting to know more about the products. And then also using something like a status update, that little motivational, colorful post that I did there on WhatsApp status update. What is below is someone that replied to it straight away. And this lady was a customer like a really, really, really long time ago. And she just sent me that message on WhatsApp with a little heart saying she loved the post. So I used that as an opportunity to engage with her. So we've started up a bit of a conversation again. She's thinking about getting back onto the products. So, you know, it's these little things that you can do through your normal run-of-the-mill stuff during the day that can open up avenues where there might be someone that you thought of that you're not quite sure how to talk to them again, that might just respond to a post like this and actually opens the door so you can start a conversation with them again. Next slide, please, Bia. And then you've got to play detective a little bit. Not every post that you put out is going to get a great response, but this is how you learn to get better with your social media. So you want to see which of your posts generate a big interest. In other words, a lot of likes. It could be on Facebook, whether it's on Instagram, and even the same with WhatsApp status updates, which I'm going to touch on a little bit later on. I'll show you a bit more detail there, where you can actually see who the people are that have been viewing your posts. And the same with this, because then you start getting a picture of what it is that your followers like to see. And then you know that that is the kind of content that you need to go ahead and post on a regular basis. Next slide, please, Bia. Okay, so here's a couple of tips on what makes a great photo or video. Lighting is very important. You need to make sure that you've got good light when you're taking photographs. No one wants to try and guess what it is or what the silhouette is that might be moving around on your photo or on your video. Make sure that you're in a well-lit area or use your flash. Make sure that you've got a good background. You know, if you're about to take a photo, just look what is going to be showing in the photograph. There have been some awkward photos that I've seen on social media already where the people had no idea what was actually behind them when they took a selfie. So just make sure that there was this one in particular of a guy that was standing in a bathroom with his towel, but the towel was open at the back and you could actually see his butt in the mirror. So, you know, just make sure that when you're taking photographs that your environment that you're including in the photo actually matches the content of what you're about to share, and that it doesn't detract from what you were originally trying to post on, because everyone is now focused on the awkward thing that you included in your photograph. You know, and also things like framing. There are interesting photo frames that you can use. Think about whether you're dressing a photograph up too much or whether it's actually good just the way it is. And then when you're photographing food, this is something I've recently started doing, and I absolutely love it because it also generates a lot of comments and interest from people, where I'm experimenting a lot with doing more vegan foods, and I've experimented a little bit with using Herbalife products in different ways, and I post things like that. Then I get messages back from people if I don't include the recipe, where they ask me, can I please share the recipe? So it's just another way that you can generate an interest and engage with people, because you might have some people following you that are absolute foodies and they love looking at beautiful food and finding out how you're cooking. And that's another way that you can actually interact with them. But always remember, it's about your personality. So don't copy what everyone else is doing. Copy what you need to you. If you're not someone that's big into food, then don't suddenly start trying to photograph food if that's not really your thing, if you don't have an interest in it. Next slide, please, Bia. Okay, so you can also get really creative with hashtags. Now, a hashtag is, in simple terms, like an index card to be able to find posts that are related to each other. So let's say, for instance, if I post a picture of my dogs, one of the hashtags that I would use is Labradors or chocolate Labradors, because then if people go onto Instagram and they search Labradors or chocolate Labradors, my account is one of the accounts that will come up because of my posts containing that hashtag quite often. Even some Instagram accounts are also hashtags at the same time. For instance, Tales of a Lab is another one that I use. So that's another one that I can add in, and it's easy then to search. It's a nice way to index the kind of posts that you're looking for. But you can also get creative. You don't have to use hashtags that are there created already. You can create your own personal and custom-made hashtags. You can organize your pictures as a result with those hashtags. You know, so if you look at this picture at the bottom left, that's actually a 50K pre-steam couple in Miami. They're very big in social media. Fabi and Elaine, pre-steam members. So her hashtag is actually her own name, Coach Fabi. It's one of her hashtags. And Fabi's workout videos, because they train a lot, they're in gym a lot, so that's another hashtag she created for herself there. But you can see it's an interesting photograph. It makes you want to stop and look and read what it's about. And there she was saying it's all about squeezing the butt cheeks, but she quite cleverly used an emoji of a peach of a peach there to replace the butt. You know, so there's so many different things that you can do. You just need to think outside the box a little bit. The bottom right picture there, a great result there with before and afters, showing progression, how the person has moved along with their results. There's another picture of Celeste Richmond. She's, I think, a 15K pre-steam member in the US, posting about 3-day trials, talking about how excited she is about personal coaching and new results. And again, she's not standing there with a 3-day trial pack and saying, use my 3-day trial. She's using herself, beautiful setting behind her, and at the same time then talking about why she's so excited about starting up with 3-day trials. Next slide, please, Bia. Okay, so here are a couple of ideas of hashtags that you can use. Instead of writing them down, it might be a good idea to take out your camera quickly and to take a snapshot of these. So for discovery, for people who are looking for things like healthy living, healthy active lifestyle, fit life, sweat every day, those are interesting hashtags you can use. If you're wanting to connect to the Herbalife community, you can use hashtags like Love My Shake, Herbalife24, Herbalife Coach, Herbalife Nutrition, because if people start searching for those things, your posts could come up in those searches as well. Herbalife specific things like Herbalife itself, we do Herbalife, I love Herbalife, do it for the bold. And then fun things, if you're doing crazy workouts, doing hashtags like beast mode, get active. Because I do weightlifting, whenever I post anything about weightlifting or things related to that, I actually use the hashtag girls who lift, because I want to see if I can attract people who are lifters and who do workouts like that, because they need proper nutrition as well. So I might start engaging with people like that, because if they follow me for the lifting, they'll automatically see my other posts as well. And then things like work hard, play hard. So there's a whole bunch of different things that you can do. Next slide, please, Vio. Okay, so this is from Herbalife, all right? I don't know if it's that clear for everyone, but perhaps you can take a snapshot of it as well. The hashtags on the left, those are the ones that Herbalife would like you to not use, please, because it creates the wrong impression. We're a healthy lifestyle company. Even though we focus on helping people to build businesses and things using hashtags like quick money or quick cash or little effort, those are not the kinds of things we want to use in hashtags and in our posts. It creates the wrong kind of impression about what it is that we actually do. So the green block on the right is what you want to focus on. Those are approved hashtags from Herbalife. So those are the ones that you can always use. So it's not that you can't post about your business and what you do for a living, but you can use hashtags then like I love my business. You can use hashtags like income opportunity. It's not creating unreasonable expectations and using hashtags like quit your job, hashtag get rich now. Those are the wrong kinds of posts or wrong kinds of hashtags, and you really shouldn't use those. And it's not necessary to use those. You know, people, once they interact with you, they'll get an idea of what Herbalife really is about. Next slide, please, Bia. Okay, so here are a couple of photo editing tools, and it's not about making every photograph perfect. These are just some of the things that you can use to help you to make your photos stand out a little bit more. So depending on what kind of smartphone you have, they all come with their own editing tools in their photo software. Instagram and Facebook also have their own editing tools. But some of these apps that are listed here, these photography apps, are actually really cool apps. Some of the apps that I use quite regularly is Snapseed. It's a free app, if I remember correctly. It's a really nice one where you can really do a lot of different kinds of effects with your photographs. And then the one below that called Word Swag. It gives you really cool kind of text and things that you can add to your photographs. Snapseed also has its own text options that you can use. But Word Swag gives you a whole bunch of other things that you can use. Next slide, please, Bia. Okay, I hope this link works because there's a link at the bottom. If you can click on it, please, Bia, where Press Team member 15K Celeste Regiment in the US talks quickly about how to edit your photographs and how to use apps like Snapseed and Word Swag. Will you see if it works, please, Bia?
Nothing happens.
The underlined part. Apps and tips for taking your photos to the next level. If you click on that.
Lizel?
Yes, Peter?
Okay, I can hear you again.
Start here.
Just busy downloading. Whatever happens now.
Damn.
Doesn't work, unfortunately.
Okay, it was working on my side. Sorry about that. Okay, but what she basically did in the video clip is she explained how to use an app like Snapseed. But if you're interested in playing around a little bit, just download Snapseed. It's a pretty easy app to use. All of the things on there are pretty straightforward. It gives you options like drama and glamour glow. Just take a photograph and start experimenting with it a little bit. The nice thing about Snapseed is you can actually undo stuff as you've done it. So it's not a complicated app to use if you're not liking the effect that you're adding to your photographs. Next slide, please, Via. Okay, so the key really is to just get started. You know, take a fun picture, download and try a new photo editing app, and then use one or two of those approved Herbalife hashtags and just experiment and see what it is that people respond to, what it is that they like. Next slide, please, Via. Okay, so WhatsApp status updates. This is something that really got me very excited. If you go into WhatsApp, it might differ from your Android phones to your iPhones and to some of your other phones, but just look for on your screen when you open up WhatsApp, there will be a little dotted circle that says status. And if you click on that, you'll see in the top right, there's an opportunity to either add an image or you can add text. There's like a little pencil. And if you click on that, like the orange belly fat challenge and the blue who do you know post that I'm showing there on the slide, you can basically just tap on the palette and it will give you different backgrounds, so you can choose the different colors, and then there's a text option where you can type out whatever text you want and it will actually post it as a status update. But it's not just text, because you can actually make it pop. Your ways that you can highlight text, you can use that as well. So when you're using the little star function on your keyboard, before a sentence and after a sentence, or before a word and after a word, that actually still also works in your status update. So if you want something to be a bit more bold, in bold texts, like I did with belly fat challenge over there, it works. You can do it. So similar to what you would have with your status updates on Instagram and in Facebook, WhatsApp has this available now as well. But what I like about it in WhatsApp is that it's a bit more personal, because everyone who's a contact in your phone that is on WhatsApp, if they go to status updates, they can actually look at your status updates. And what's even better about this, if you look at the image that I posted put on the far right there where it says my updates, that was taken at 12 o'clock today, and it's just for the last 24 hours. So those were all the status updates that I had done for the last 24 hours. But to the right of it, there's like a little eye with a number underneath it. And that's the amount of people that have viewed that specific post. And if you click on that, you can actually see the names of the people who were stalking you, who were actually looking at your status updates. So it will give you an idea of who the people are that regularly follow your posts. And that might be a nice way for you to then get in touch with those people. You know, if you're seeing that they're liking all your posts about Herbalife stuff all the time, or about your belly fat challenge all the time, it might be a nice opportunity to get in touch with them, you know. With my belly fat challenge one that I posted, I actually got people that replied to that straight away and said, I'm in, I want to get started. What do I need to do? The one lady was a contact in my phone, and I still now, I'm not entirely sure how and where we met. I was actually too embarrassed to ask, because she knew who I was and she knew that I was a Herbalife coach, but I can't remember where we met. But she was in my challenge for last week. She's upgraded. She's now in my 21-day challenge. Another instance that I had was a lady that was the admin manager in my office in 2003 when I was still practicing law. She's still a contact in my phone, and she saw the belly fat challenge, and she sent me a message and said, listen, I would like to join, and my sister would like to join as well. So they were also in my belly fat challenge last week, upgraded this week, and they're in my 21-day challenge. You know, so it took me 2 seconds to post that, but it generated an interest. But again, I'm not just promoting what I do as a business. There's other content in there as well. So My workouts is a big part of my life, so I posted something recently about my workouts. But something else that I've started doing, which really generates an interest as well, is when I get comments from people in my groups, like in my belly fat challenges. That second to last picture at the bottom right was screenshots that I took of text in my WhatsApp groups, where people were saying how much they've learned, how much the challenge has changed them, how they're looking forward to the 21-day challenge. And the reason I post that there is because I want people to get context. I don't want them to see this as just a product or a service that I'm advertising. I want them to see that when I use a hashtag like changing lives, I'm actually doing it. I'm actually getting that kind of result. So I blank out the people's names and phone numbers because obviously I don't want that to be visible to the general public. But it's a nice way for me to use a testimonial, in effect, from a client to validate when I'm saying, you should be coached by me. I'm a great coach and I get results and I change people's lives. There's the validation in the feedback that I get from clients. The same goes then with if I'm bringing in a new team member. This is a lady that I signed up yesterday, Kungeka. I did a photograph of her with her members pack, her new MAP HMP straight away. I posted that on there. She's already had people, because I did the post on Facebook as well, and I tagged her in it. She's already had friends that have asked her, what is this new business that you're getting involved in? How can we learn more about it? And she signed up yesterday. You know, so inadvertently, even with what I'm doing, I'm helping my member to start grow their business and to get access to their circle of influence. You know, and in South Africa, we're not allowed to directly promote the business opportunity. It's against the Herbalife rules and regulations at this stage. But what I discovered is that with a WhatsApp status message, this is not live on social media for the general public to see. This goes out to my contacts. So what I've recently done is every now and again, I would put a post like that blue block that you see over there. Who do you know that could do with an extra 3,000 to 7,000 Rand per month part-time without it interfering with what they do full-time? I've had inquiries from this already. And this is where you then really need to be clear about your flow in your business. Because you need to know that when someone replies to a post like that, how are you going to deal with them? Is it someone that you're going to invite to a meeting? Do you use that little video presentation? So that part I'm not going to do in the training here now, but just be clear that when you do these things, you need to think with the end in mind. How are you going to work with this person? A Get team member, Get 2.5 team member in PE posted this today, so I decided to slot it in there, where she says that she actually watched a video that changed her life forever. So she's not directly promoting the Herbalife business opportunity here, but I thought this was really clever. And she said, this is the video that I watched that was 29 minutes long that changed my life forever. If you're keen to check it out, send me a WhatsApp, and she put her phone number in there, or drop me your number below. You won't believe how many people that are connected to her on Facebook responded to that. And I think that is actually still within Herbalife's rules and regulations, because she's not mentioning Herbalife anywhere in there. Or income opportunity or anything like that. But people were interested because people who follow her on Facebook see the kind of lifestyle that she leads. And she comes from a rural township outside of Port Elizabeth. So to see the kind of life she's living now, and she's saying she's living that life now because of a 29-minute video that she watched, it generated an interest. You know, so be clever with the things and use the tools that you have available to give you an opportunity to interact more with people. Next slide, please, Bea. Okay, so here's 2 examples that I want to share with you guys. I touched on the one already, so you'll see there with the belly fat challenge that started on the 12th of March, that was a response that I got straight away. It wasn't even 5 minutes after I had done the status update. This was the lady that I still don't know how and where we met, but she's a contact in my phone, and she was on the belly fat challenge last week. And then, because of a status update, the one on the right, this is actually the street captain for our neighborhood watch in my area. And because of my status updates, she saw that I'm a Herbalife distributor, and she used the products long ago, and she was looking for tea, and she lives right across the road from me. So without me having to knock on her door and say, hey, I'm a Herbalife coach, these are the services I offer, it actually brought her to me. And she's actually referred 2 people to me now that I'm going to be seeing soon as well that want to get started on challenges. So, you know, it's not stuff that takes a lot of your time. If you work cleverly with it, it can work for you while you are doing other things like walking and talking and getting in touch with people. Next slide, please, Bea. Okay, so with all that being said, always approach these things with the end in mind. What do you do with a person that connects with you through social media? Just press again, please, Bea. Are you clear about your flow? Okay, so it's one thing doing these things, but if you don't know what you want to do with the person after they've got in touch with you, you will lose them as quickly as you got them. So be clear about how you want to work with people that contact you about the business opportunity or that contact you about getting started on the products. And you also want to make sure that what you do is duplicatable later on. So with my new coaches that I'm getting started now, like Kungeka yesterday, she's very active on social media. So for her, it would be easy to copy what I'm doing right now. And she started with me through a challenge first, before I signed up. She was actually a button hit on the work from home, ask me how button. But I took her through the client process first. I didn't skip. Make sure that you're not skipping steps. That's the point that I'm trying to bring across. But social media can be a really powerful way to showcase who you are and what you do. Last slide, please, Bea. Okay, so a couple of tips in closing. Get started with social media straight away if that is something that you want to do, but take people on the journey with you. Post about your goals. Post how much you love your shake and why you love it. Post about your workouts and about different people who you've met, who inspire you. It's not about posting static pictures, meaning it's not just a picture of, don't just post a picture of a water bottle standing on a table. You know, make it look interesting. You want to stage your photo, if I want to put it that way. Make sure that you're always branded. You're a Herbalife coach. You know, if you're in a photograph, make sure that your button is showing. Or make sure that your branded clothing that you're wearing is showing, or your branded shaker. Don't take a photograph promoting Herbalife with a Biogen shaker or a USN shaker. I've seen those already. That just kills it straight away. Remember that you're representing this incredible company called Herbalife through your posts, and make sure that it's always positive and it always represents the brand well. And engage with people who like or comment on your posts. You know, if someone gives you a comment on one of your posts, say thank you and ask them what about the post it is that they liked, what attracted them to it. You never know how you can start a conversation. Quentin Rivard did a brilliant thing with his bungee jump that he did off the Soweto towers, where he tagged the actual, used the official hashtag for the towers and that, and he said, I'm from France and I just did this. Who has done this from other countries as well? And that opened the door for him to start a conversation with other people. And he then could ask them, so, okay, you're from Holland. Why were you in South Africa? What were you doing? Do you love to travel? It's that thing about getting to know people and see how you can connect with them so that they can start building a relationship with you. See posting on social media as building a mosaic of your life. I thought this was a really cool thing. This isn't my saying. This was one of the press team members in the US that actually said this in a social media training. And he said you need to see whatever you do and whatever you post on social media as your own personal mosaic that you're building. Each time you post a picture, it's a little tile. And all of these tiles need to connect with each other. So make sure that the content you're sharing has the same golden thread running through it. Don't 1 minute post about healthy, active lifestyle and the next minute posting a picture of you and your Herbalife branding in a McDonald's drive-thru, that kind of thing. They don't connect, they clash. Okay, so in short, be authentic, be you. And for those of you who are really scared of getting started with social media, Herbalife launched that Herbalife Social website where you can register. There's a small fee that you pay per month, but there Herbalife does the job for you. They create all the content for you. If you want wording, if you want images, they give it all, and you can schedule those posts to run on a daily basis. So you don't even have to do it on a daily basis. There's a scheduler attached to it that you can use. So that's another easy way for you to start wetting your feet with social media. That's it for my side. Thank you.
Fantastic, Lizel. This was absolutely stunning, and I'm sure there's maybe a couple of people who have a question. So I just would like to give you the opportunity for 2-3 questions. Lizel, do you have still time for us?
Yeah, sure.
Fantastic. So if you want to ask a question, it's now a great opportunity. I see from Alistair, he has lifted his hand. Just show, you must unmute yourself, or I do it for you.
All right. Hi, Pia. Hi, everybody. Now I just wanted to say, I actually also started like in this last month or 2 months with the status of WhatsApp, and today I actually got 31 people that was watching my status, and I realized also for this 2 months, the first 4 pics you send on your status is the most important. Whatever it is you want to do, try and do it in the first 4 pics. After that, the people just lose interest. Like whatever pic I post after the 4th one, all just goes downhill. Lose interest, lose interest, lose interest. And the end of the day, I check how much I got. I'm left with my last pic, and it's listed off. But in the first 4 pics, I'm telling you, that is where you do the most good work on all your statuses. Thank you.
Oh,
brilliant.
cool.
Thank you, Alistair, for your confirmation. So anybody with a question?
Yeah. I have a question. Yeah.
Doris, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, Lizel, when you post a picture or photo with people, you first ask them because of the privacy that you can post the picture? Because many people think they don't want to be in social media, they don't want to appear on photos. Maybe this is a breach of privacy to post a picture then.
Look, if it's clients and I'm sharing clients' results, I definitely always get their permission first. But when it comes to my friends, when it comes to Herbalife people, if they've got a social media account, they will be tagged. Because if you've got a social media account in those instances, you are wanting to be out there anyway. So my friends as well, all of them have their own Instagram accounts. So like yesterday, we did a couple of vegan markets that we went to. We were touring around. I didn't ask their permission. I just tagged them anyway. A tip that I can give you, if you're worried about being tagged in something that you might not want to be tagged in, like on Facebook, you can actually set your privacy that you get a notification first when someone has tagged you in something, and you can then choose whether you want to add that to your timeline or not. But for clients, yes, I always check and make sure that they're okay for me to share it. And also, like with a new coach, like Kungeka yesterday, I said to her, look, I'm big on social media. I love sharing what I do. Is it okay with you if I share a picture and just welcome you officially on social media and tag you in it as well, so that your friends and family know that you're in business? And she said, absolutely. You know, so I don't make a big issue out of it, but I do make sure that if it's a new person, that they're okay with me doing that, for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
One last question. Going once, going twice. Okay, then it's just to give Lizel a big hand. Thank you very much, Lizel. It was absolutely stunning. And I liked actually the app you told us about to work on the photo. So you will see shortly what I have done with it.
Awesome stuff. Well, you're going to LA, so you can't ask for a better time to snap lots of pictures there.
Exactly. So I'm always glad to learn about that stuff. The most important I learned about social media is really to get active on it, and you learn while you're doing it, and follow just people also and look what they do. So these were brilliant tips. Lizel, thank you so much. And we watch all your WhatsApp statuses and what's happening now after this training, because then we know Lizel has done a great job. But I know already you have done a great job. Thank you, Lizel. Thanks everybody who was on the call tonight. And have an awesome week and enjoy your posting. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Lizel.
Thank you, Lizel.
Bye.